Hi, my name is Ron Baker. Actually, I'm the famous Ron Baker.
The famous Ron Baker.
And many of you have probably heard of me, or if not, you should have.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm in Louisville, Kentucky, and I'm at the World Finals. I'm actually competing in MECA and IASCA.
What classes?
I'm in IASCA, I'm in Pro,
Okay.
and in MECA, I'm in Extreme. Both classes have lots of really good cars, and so at this point in time, I'm going to show you mine.
All right.
Here's my trunk.
What car is this?
This is a Audi A6, and it's actually my retirement car.
Oh, retirement. What do you mean retirement? You look pretty young.
I am pretty young, and I retired at an early age so that I could focus more on one of my favorite hobbies, and that's car stereo.
Really?
I've been doing this about 30 years.
Wow.
So I kind of have a clue. I'll put it that way. With regards to my install, it was done by a good friend and also a competitor, Steve Wegner. And we talked about like what is it that you want.
Yeah.
And one of my criteria was to have a trunk.
Okay.
My wife and I travel, and traveling with women, they have big suitcases. So I wanted to.
Why do I have a feeling that yours is bigger than your wife's?
Actually, no. And I got the biggest suitcase we own, and I took measurements for Steve, and I said, okay, I have to have this much trunk space. Okay, so he understood that. I also didn't want to affect the integrity of the car. I mean, this is an A6
it's a nice
for
car.
crying out loud. So, it's not like I wanted to tear it up.
Yeah.
Or disrupt the integrity of the car. So we wanted to maintain the integrity of the vehicle.
Yeah.
So if you look in the trunk, the first thing you're going to notice is that I have some trunk. You'll see a lot of installs where people put amps in the floors, people put amps in the side panels. I still have full access to my spare, and it's a full-size spare. I still have the side panels intact. And if you look, I basically have 5 amplifiers and look at that, 2 processors and 2 15s.
That's me.
Okay, that's all in the trunk, and I still have trunk. Now, in my mind, that is a solid, thoughtful install.
Yeah.
And I mean, I haven't seen any car like this.
Yeah.
And there's very few that don't have amps or what have you in the side panel. So that integrity has been maintained.
So speaking of amps, what are you running here?
I'm running Genesis amps.
Genesis.
I have dual monos. I have them actually bridged on each 10 installed in my kick panels. I have a mono amp delivering a ton of power to my subs, and I also have Class A amps on my mids and my tweeters.
Okay.
So,
what subs you got here?
Acoustic Elegant subs.
Okay.
And they have the Apollo motors. These are pretty much hand built to order.
Okay.
So you call them up, you say I want a 15, and this is the motor I want on them, and they all took a month.
Okay.
To get
wow.
them.
That's not bad though.
And this is actually the very first time that I've ever in my 30 years of competition used IB.
Yeah. You were always a sealed. I remember you had the Illusion sealed.
One time I deviated from that. I had a ported box that was actually designed by Manville Smith.
Wow.
From JL Audio.
Yeah.
And it was incredible. I actually had it firing through the rear deck, much like we did here.
Okay.
But I was assured by Steve that you're going to love infinite baffle. You're going to get extremely low bass. You're going to get accurate bass, and you're going to get everything you want.
Yeah.
And you're not going to miss sealed box at all.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same, to be honest, except you get lower extension, higher efficiency.
Exactly, and lower, the extension, just something that you really can't get with a sealed enclosure.
Yeah.
So far, I'm actually loving it. He actually did the accents. I love the lighting.
Yeah,
and
it looks really good.
When you see the rest of the car, you'll notice that the install fits the car.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's check it out.
The first thing that you're going to notice is that the all the radio and everything is still intact. I have my competition system is completely separate than the car.
OEMs. Does the OEM system still play?
Absolutely.
Really?
Cassette, radio, nothing has been altered whatsoever.
Is that cassette?
It's
CD.
actually a CD player.
CD.
And the only thing that we did here is we added the Helix Director.
Yeah.
And of course,
Good job, Steve.
he did a.
Looks like he's useful for something, huh?
He is, and you know, contrary to popular belief, and I have to tell you, I love Steve.
Yeah.
He's just one of the nicest people that I know, and he knows what he's doing.
He's
he
a
knows
genuine
about,
friend.
and he knows car stereo.
Yeah.
And the other part is that, and again, this was a really thoughtful install. We didn't just pick things and, you know, try to make it work.
Yeah.
We thought about every piece that went in this vehicle.
Yeah.
We demoed I probably 4 or 5 top mid-ranges,
Really?
4 or 5 top tweeters, and the same with the mid-bass. And we actually played them and determined how they sounded together
Okay.
before anything went in the car.
Really?
So we basically knew what the car would sound like when we were done.
Wow.
And as far as location, I mean, everybody knows, you know, it's like real estate, you know, location, location, location. It's where you put things.
Yeah.
And, you know, rather than putting a bunch of drivers in and then figuring out how you're going to make it work,
Yeah.
it was designed to do what it does from the beginning.
Yeah.
So up here in the A-pillars, which if you take a close look at this beautiful work, this was actually
Upholstered by
Nick Apicella from
look at
Apicella
that.
Audio. If you know
Apicella
them.
Auto Center.
Apicella Autos. Excuse me,
Man,
Nick.
Excuse you.
But yeah, Nick did a wonderful job with this. And again,
We just did the upholstery.
Steve
did
at
the pillars.
Yeah, he did the pillars, but they did the upholstery. But just look at the work, and it's
They're
cosmetically integrated into the vehicle.
You don't even really, it doesn't really even take up that much space.
Listen,
It only takes up, you know, couple inches.
I've taken my car to my dealer, the Audi dealer, and I showed them, and at first they didn't even realize anything was
Different.
really different.
Or, yeah.
It's like, and then I'm pointing out the pillars, and they're like, oh wow, yeah, and then I say, well, and I've got 10s in the kick panels, and they're like, what? And then again, look at the stitching. Focus, yeah, zoom in on that. This is just a stellar job, and
It looks like your door's hitting right here.
oh,
Yeah, that happens often.
yeah, it does. But you know, it's just a wonderful job. The mid basses, the design work, it's executed with perfect excellence.
Yeah.
And I couldn't be happier with the system. Very happy with the kick panels, how they came out, and also the A-pillars. And again, like a lot of people that I actually show this to, they're like, yeah, and I'm like, don't you see, you know, this work and all, you know, in the kick panels. But even at the dealership, they were just amazed at how well the speakers and everything were cosmetically integrated into the car.
Yeah.
So then, you know, we had the question because I like music and I like lots of music in my car.
I remember your book of CDs, or books of CDs.
So what I wanted to do was I started a campaign like last year, putting all my music, all my CDs digital and getting them on my computer. And I have a library of over 4,000 CDs. So it was a daunting task, and I'm still not done. I'm maybe 3/4 of the way through. This iPad, which I'm not a big Apple fan, but it works with a lot of the aftermarket equipment. So I chose the iPad Pro because it has a 0.5 terabyte of storage. I would have gotten a terabyte of storage, but it was a little too salty for my taste. So I stuck with the half a terabyte, but that's still a lot of music.
That's a ton of music.
So I was talking to Steve. I said, so Steve, how am I going to, use this in my car?
Yeah.
Because again, I'm not going to cut anything, and so how am I going to be able to play this where the judges will like it and I'll like it, and we can actually go through the tracks. And he told me about this piece that I got from Amazon. It actually screws into your cup holder.
Oh yeah, is that the joining one?
Yep, and
Your stuff works well.
Oh, it's perfect. I love it. And there's a magnet on the case,
yeah.
And there's a magnet on the base,
yeah.
And you can just lift it
right
out, and then you can actually screw it in.
Yeah.
And it's stable.
That's what we were using in the Versa.
It's wonderful. I love this piece. I can't say enough good things about it.
Cool.
And again, I still have all the functionality.
How does this go into your processor?
Okay, this actually gets hooked to okay, I'm using a DAC.
Okay, and then that goes to
exactly
your other processor.
And
okay.
And I kind of went away from the head unit, and I wanted to try to do something a little different, trying to get the best sound quality I could get. So I went with that, and I'm pretty happy with it. And most people that have heard it seem to like it.
Yeah,
so
I heard it sounds good. I'll be back for a demo.
Okay, you got it.
After I get to more videos. But that being said, any closing words?
I don't know. I'm really passionate about this. I think everybody that's here is passionate about music, or they wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
And I think everybody, here brought their A game. So we'll see what happens. Absolutely.
Of course he did.
Damn right I did.
We going out to dinner tonight?
Absolutely.
Going
and hopefully we're celebrating.
Oh, maybe. We'll celebrate something.
All right.
So win, lose, we're celebrating regardless.
That's right. And you're paying.
Maybe.
Thank you, Nick.